Some of this footage was recorded from my Twitch streams. Hey you, do you like space? Do you like spaceships? And do you like forced labor camps? Then I have the game that is perfect for you. Sins of a Solar Empire 2. Sins of a Solar Empire 2 is a 4X RTS game set entirely in space, where you are encouraged to commit as many war crimes as you can in the span of several hours, and where orbitally bombing a planet and slaughtering all of its inhabitants is called the peaceful option. This takes place in a war-torn future where three factions of bloodthirsty morons, who got so tired of regular violence they each split in half to create even better violence, fight an endless war over the galaxy to see who can fuck it up the fastest. And it is also one of the best games to come out this year. This went downhill fast. The name of the game here is content, except it's actually this. And boy, there is a lot of it. Maps ranging from nice and comfy 2 to 4 player maps, to 10-player clusterfucks where you don't know who is winning until you realize that your homeworld is now on fire. Adding onto that, the 3 factions and their variants, as well as what is even on the map in the first place, AI difficulty, fleet composition, and what you ate for lunch that day, all make every match you do behave differently. This really is one of the games where the answer to the question of how much replay value is there is simply yes. Now, while there is a diplomacy option you can take, being nice is boring, and this gun I have makes a really funny noise when I shoot your planet with it. Check it out. Oh! Oh my god, that's what it looks like when it hits? In this game, your goal is to build an empire, wow, who could have guessed, and trying to get the high score in the Geneva Suggestions violations, and managing your new territory is even more paramount here than it was in the original Sins. Instead of just doing a few upgrades here and there and then forgetting that planet even exists, now you have to manage a whole world's commerce, surface mining, surveying, and if they have orbital defenses and a Whataburger. This also affects your taxes. The more planets you own, the more infrastructure fees you have to pay. Planet type matters as well. These range from asteroids, who offer only the most basic of benefits because it is just a big rock you call dibs, to volcanic planets that feel like an average day in Arizona, and primordial worlds that look like if Cancer had a homeworld. Some worlds can't even have their full benefits unlocked until you progress further down your Empire's civilian research tree, cause I guess you need to make sure that the folks you dumped on that ocean world don't drown or something. You can even give planets special items to improve or change how they function for you. This can be something simple, like making mining or ship manufacturing faster, to giving you free research points or building an Amazon warehouse. These fancy upgrades also affect the way and how you want to burn down your neighbor's territory, since you can see what special item upgrades they have given their planets. Do you want to bomb the one that has a manufacturing boost, or the one that has so much money flowing through it makes Apple look broke by comparison? Either way, the choice is yours on which you want to turn into Halo Reach. A new mechanic that is thrown in to mess up your plans is that the game reminds you that planets can in fact move. While this choice is optional, though I do not recommend you turn it off, this makes planets orbit moons, moons orbit worlds, etc. So while in the beginning you might be safe and cozy in your starting worlds, an hour later the enemy might have an FTL highway directly to your house. Some planets will even orbit backwards from the normal counterclockwise motion, which can sometimes be really funny when an enemy world ends up in your territory or you start literally sharing worlds with your friends. To help plan for this, Sins 2 allows you to view the orbit of your map an hour into the future, allowing you to plan out any future assaults, or realizing that you might be screwed because your home cluster is now wide open to empires that hate you. Not all worlds are unoccupied though, and that is where minor factions come into play. These are AI-controlled groups that have the grasp on a single world on your map and exist to be thanklessly manipulated by others stronger than them, just like working at Activision. Unlike Activision, however, everybody wants to work with them. This is done with a new resource called Influence. The more influence they have, the higher you can get in a relationship with them, as well as unlocking better bonuses from them. The bonuses are things like special planet items, summoning reinforcement fleets, or just attacking enemy planets for you because you felt like being a dick to that person. They can also start handing out random auctions that are available to everyone on the map, but are only given to the player that offers them the most influence. And thank God, I can finally take place in an auction. I can finally win! Aww. But being an interstellar empire means you need to have a fleet to spread your influence and your enemies' cheeks, and you need to know how to use them properly. You get a starship, you get a starship, everyone gets a starship! It may come as a bit of a surprise, but to travel through the depths of space, you need a spaceship. Wow, who could have guessed? But Sins 2 now puts a lot more effort in making you understand your ships. The main form of this is fully simulated weaponry. This means your ships now have turrets that need to turn before firing, shots can be blocked by random objects or your own fleet, and missiles can now be shot down. You also need to see what type of firepower your ship has. For instance, the Cole-class battleship of the TEC is armed to the teeth, with 2 heavy Gauss turrets that hit harder than P. Diddy, and an experimental laser beam that tells you fuck that guy in particular. However, it has 0-point defense turrets, so it will have a lot of trouble taking down missiles and strike craft, so it's best to support it with ships that can take care of that problem for it. This makes fleet composition a must to consider, since a mass of a single ship type will always have a weakness to exploit. The mass of your ships also come into play, but this is pretty self-explanatory. Small vessels move faster than Trump trying to reach McDonald's, while massive capital ships and titans are slower than me trying to wake up in the morning. All of this is made far easier to manage with Sins 2's fleet management system. Not only does it group your ships together in a way that makes it easier to keep track of them, if you order new ships to be constructed straight from the fleet icon, it will automatically call on the nearest factory to build them, so you no longer have to hunt down the planets you built your ship manufacturing facilities on. Not only that, when they are constructed, they will automatically fly to the fleet's position, even if that fleet is still on the move. The biggest change I experienced during my gameplay is how Titans are now handled. Titans are massive ships, about the size of a small planet, that you can only have one of because they can be so powerful. They are now a very late game appearance compared to how they were in the original Sins, for many reasons. First off, they now require incredibly high amounts of research labs, instead of just the 4 from Sins 1. They also need an insane amount of resources to build, including a large amount of the new resource type called exotics. Exotics are special shiny rocks that are either found by surveying planets, collecting the derelict wreckage of ships you just turned into mulch, or refined in exotic refineries that you can eventually unlock. They are used for almost every late game heavy hitting item and research, and you're going to need a lot of them if you want your starbase to be actually threatening, instead of a moon-sized paperweight that is about as useful as doing eye surgery with a ballista. This does make the late game even more satisfying to reach though, since all that time and money spent has now unlocked all the fun toys you can now use. But now comes the big question. Who do I go as to venture forth into the stars so I can punch my enemy's face so hard their teeth goes into their ass? Well, let me help you choose. There are 3 main races in Sins of a Solar Empire 2, with each split into 2 different flavors. This gives you 6 playable factions to choose from, giving you even more replay value. At the time of this review, I have only played 4, but that is because I can't stop playing them.
Money, 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 money.
Hey, do you like money? No. I mean, do you like money? Then the Trader Emergency Coalition is perfect for you. The Trader Emergency Coalition, who I will be calling Tech from now on because I do not wish to say their name over and over again, are your standard human faction in this game. What I mean by that is they like three main things: guns, fortifications, and money. The main draw for the tech is their main mechanic known as export, which allows you to put points into the gain rate of each main resource in order to modulate your income depending on what you need the most at that time. This makes the tech economy nigh unbeatable by other races. I just lost a capital ship? Who cares? I'm gonna buy another one. Starbase destroyed? Here's a check. I just want another one. Allies' planet burned to a crisp from an alien armada, with its entire civilian population resembling a well-done steak? Sorry, I can't hear you over all of my money! Your ships reflect the economic nature of the tech. They are all relatively well priced, can be built fast, and therefore a major fleet loss can easily be rectified by just reaching into your pocketbook. Your ships themselves rely on a combination of very heavy armor and absurd levels of firepower, with their ships covered in autocannons, Gauss weapons, and missiles. They are basically the UNSC from Halo, except they don't get their assholes immediately turned inside out from an alien race. The two flavors of tech are the Enclave and the Primacy. The Enclave is the ultimate turtle faction, gaining bonus damage in gravity wells that you own, and the ability to build 2 star bases if you really want to tell someone to fuck off. This makes worlds held by this faction insanely tough to crack when they are fully entrenched, especially if the planet has, or is in range of, a garrison fleet that does not take up supply slots for them. This idea of defense is perfectly represented with their titan, the Ankyllon. The Ankyllon is basically a fortress that someone slapped engines on and then flung into space. Covered in so many guns that its attack angle is yes, this thing is right at home, smack in the middle of an enemy fleet so it can tear them apart no matter where they are. It is also the most powerful support ship in the game, providing extra shields to allied ships, disabling enemy vessels, or just straight up healing itself whenever it feels like it. The ultimate ability of this thing is a straight up immunity aura that exists to say, nah, I don't feel like dying today. It truly does make defense the best offense. Rogel Dorn would be so proud. So if you want to make sure your worlds are safe, you like to isolate yourself from others, or you just want to build that wall, the Tech Enclave is for you. But what if you just hate anyone that is not you? You just want to spread the message wide that you are the best, and everyone else is just in your way. Then you want the Tech Primacy. The Primacy is the faction that woke up one morning, chose xenophobia, and did not stop. You want to be as aggressive as you can with them, destroying anyone in your path, especially if they are not human. They are immediately given the location of the pirate base on the map, can ally with neutral forces, gain money from attacking others, and can even cause insurgencies to sprout up on enemy worlds your culture has domination on. There even is an unlock that makes your ships become more bloodthirsty and do more damage when you are bombing a planet. They are so genocide happy, I would not be surprised if they get off on destroying an enemy fleet. No, don't look that up. They are also the tech variant that gains access to the Novolith Cannon, which is a moon-sized gun that shoots atmosphere-burning super nukes at planets, because for you, war crimes are not an option. It's a guarantee. Oh! The easiest way to show how aggressive they want you to be, however, is by looking at their titan, the Ragnarov. This ship is basically Texas in space. It is a giant flying gun covered in more guns that can be further upgraded with missile launchers and an item that makes the main gun even stronger. Its abilities make this monster even more insane. The main gun can swap between a high damage piercing shot that can JFK capital ships, an explosive shot that will sneeze an enemy fleet out of existence or shatter structures, and it can also gain a passive buff that makes it stronger the more enemies it kills. The ultimate ability makes it a mobile Novolith cannon, so now you can casually incinerate worlds as you go. Seriously, this thing is fucking nuts. If there is something in front of it, it is dying. Period. Yes.
Just casually nuked off the planet's population.
All for the unity.
The flipping Ragnarov just sneezed and half the population died.
It just went, it's you! And half the planet's health is evaporated. So if you want unrelenting rage rolled up into a faction, just love watching things burn, and so much propaganda, then play the Tech Primacy. The main downside of the tech is honestly their fleet. Your overall ships are absolutely, positively, scientifically proven to be alright. While you do have a lot of armor to chew through, the actual firepower you dish out is more quantity over quality. There is, after all, a reason why your ships are more affordable than the other factions. To put it simply, while the other races got their vessels from the best stores in Dubai, you got yours from Walmart. They're not bad, just meh. And specifically for the Primacy, remember what I said about their Titan? If there is something in front of it, it is dying. Period. Yeah, that is because that is the only direction it is dangerous in. If it becomes surrounded, it's crumbling faster than a Chinese high-rise. But if you're okay with those weaknesses and realizing that your fleet is not actually your backbone, your money is, then either the tech factions are right for you. Now, let's talk about something a bit more shiny.
You're dead? That's good, amen.
The Advent are what happens when VTubers are given highly advanced technology and their own religion. They were also the faction I was most curious about playing, because they were my least favorite and least played back in the original Sins. Now, however, they have gotten one heck of a facelift. Their new look alone is a big plus for me because they really have nailed the sleek, flowing design that they aimed for in the first game. The biggest attraction for them are their weapons. I hope you like energy beams and lasers because the Advent have plenty of them and want to fling them at your face as fast as they can. Advent ships are pure damage cannons, able to melt through anything in their path with very little effort, as well as having a myriad of abilities to make fighting them even harder. Their capital ships are the mainstay of their fleet, and for good reason. The combination of what they offer to the table is truly terrifying. We are talking everything from permanent mind control, draining antimatter, mass hysteria, canceling Firefly, and even just straight up turning off your weapons and ability to move. Fighting the Advent is where you will most commonly see the phrase, "that is bullshit," being thrown around. The other major aspect of them is how they use culture. Culture in Sins 2 is the collective amount of how influential your empire spreads. The more you have, the farther it goes, even to the point of overtaking enemy worlds. The Advent, however, have found a way to weaponize it. This is most evident in their unity. Unity is simply the psionic collective will of the Advent people, and this allows them to gain access to 5 special powers. These are the Eye of Sauron, the You Can't Hurt Me button, the Advent Oh Shit button, Culture, but faster, and You Will Be My Friend, You Have No Choice. The more unity points you have, the stronger you can make these abilities to the point of altering the shape of a war if used properly. Your choices are the Advent Reborn or the Advent Wrath. Now, I only played the Reborn before this review, so I have the most experience with them. The main gimmick of the Reborn is resurrection and sacrifice. Whenever a ship dies in combat, there is a chance of it simply respawning at their home planet, like nothing even happened. If the dice rolls correctly, entire fleets can get wiped out, but with 0 losses. That sentence made total sense. On the flip side, they can also sacrifice the entire population of a world they choose to inflict massive damage to any enemy worlds around them. Okay, that one's a bit fucked up. Alright. The culmination of all of this nonsense is the Eradika Titan, which is a deadly, solo fleet killer, and also seriously, the Advent are so advanced that they gave a starship hips. You know the scene from Dark Knight where the Joker is going, that is the Eradika. Getting stronger from taking damage, getting stronger from allied ships dying near it, and even sacrificing allied ships to strengthen itself makes this thing near impossible to kill when supported. My favorite ability on this ship, however, is something called Chastic Burst, which is a funny button that damages one ship, then spreads to nearby enemy objects around it. It's a good way of saying, nice fleet, dickhead. Pity my Titan just sneezed and killed it. You might now be thinking, how the fuck do I beat these guys? They sound ridiculously strong. And while on the surface it may seem that way, there are a couple major downsides you need to take into account. Number 1, you are weak as hell. While yes, your damage output might make your enemies shit themselves at the very sight of you, you can't exactly take many hits. Advent ships rely entirely on their shields for protection, leaving their armor and hull about as effective as a wet sponge. Those shields drop and you can be killed by someone sneezing on you too hard. That issue leads into the second major downside. Your planetary defenses are garbage. The lack of good armor makes your turrets and even your starbase rather easy to drop. Keep the aggression going with this race, because if you get knocked back, you will fall pretty quickly if you don't have a good recovery fleet ready. Finally, the Unity abilities are pretty hit or miss. While spying on a world of your choice and making a world immune are pretty decent, the others are kinda meh and require a lot of micromanaging and keeping track of the situation in order to use them properly. Still, the Advent are actually quite fun to play, and it is humorous watching the damage output melting anything that looks at you funny. And it was due to this fact that they took the crown as my favorite faction. For a whole 6 hours. Then I played these guys. Yep, my merry band of piss-terrified, resource-hungry aliens are still my favorite faction to play. I loved them in the original Sins, and they are even better now. The group I played specifically was the Vasari Exodus, and they are so much fun. The Vasari are masters of phase space, aka FTL travel, so they can run all over the place with barely a sweat, and being a resource-hungry species, they need to move fast because you want to expand as quickly as possible. All of their starships are big and monstrous behemoths whose weapons usually have a very slow fire rate, but feel like you're getting hit by a car every time they hit. The main mechanic with them is a buff called Phase Resonance, which is an upgradable buff they receive every time they finish a phase space jump. This is everything from getting a speed boost, fire rate increase, and ability recharge decreased. None of that matters though because of one weapon the Vasari have, the Phase Missile. This is the weapon that will make any Advent player fucking cry because it has an innate chance to go completely through an enemy's shields and right into their hull. And yes, phase resonance can increase the chance of shield bypass. Okay, while the Advent fans go have panic attacks in the corner, I will tell you about their variant called the Exodus, which is probably the most fun way to play this game. While the other one, the Vasari Alliance, does exist, that one requires you to be nice to other people, and no. The Vasari Exodus is the faction you want to be if you want to be the biggest asshole in the game. And I fucking love it. Make no effort to make friends, build forced labor camps on every world you can, and slaughter anything in your way. You are the bad guy. Now embrace it. Your goal here is to end up as a nomadic roaming fleet, never stopping to settle, just taking what you need and moving on. Winning a game with 0 planets under your control is what you want to see. But wait, how do you do that? Don't you need planets to gain resources? The Vasari do not need money. They literally do not use credits to build anything. But how do you get stuff? Good point. If only there was a way to get a bunch of resources really fast. If I had something to strip the problem down, to get to the core of the issue. Oh right, I can do this. Yep, you are playing the only faction in the game that can outright destroy worlds completely, leaving nothing behind for the enemy to take. Look, I blew up the whole map. God, I love these guys. Their Titan makes it even better. Enter the Vorastra. This giant stingray-looking son of a bitch is one of the worst things you could ever encounter. Oh, you've got a big fleet with you? Guess what? My Titan just ate it and converted it for resources. Oh, you are shooting at it? Guess what? It gains an increase in fire rate and can even do splash damage now. My Titan is slow, you say? Guess what? It can fucking teleport. And if you think you are safe hiding your homeworld behind a bunch of defended planets, guess what? It can create its own phase lane and go right to your back door. I call this move Operation Surprise Buttsex. Coupled with highly leveled buffs from Phase Resonance, a fully built Vasari Exodus armada is nigh unstoppable. At this point, I would tell you about their weaknesses, but you know what? I am not. I am 117% biased toward this faction, so no, I will not reveal any weaknesses. The Vasari Exodus are the peak faction in this game, the most fun you can have, and I cannot recommend trying them out enough. The universe is your buffet. Feast well. And remember, it is not a war crime if there are no witnesses. Okay, I have been rambling on for God knows how long, so I will get to the conclusion. There are still so many details I have not touched on, but I think I have made my point. The game is not perfect. No game is. But the negatives are so minor compared to the sheer fun factor it offers, it does not matter to me. The negatives mainly are lacking graphics options, I missed having the uncolonizable gravity wells from the original Sins, and the AI art does stick out. But still, the rating I am going to give it will not surprise you. Sins of a Solar Empire 2 easily earns the Golden Stetson, the highest rating on my scale. It has something for everyone, the replay value is endless, and even more content is coming that will make the game even better. I cannot recommend it enough. Go out and buy it, you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry this took so long, but this project became way bigger than I expected. I hope you enjoyed it either way, and if you did, please do all the YouTube button thingies. Next video will be a review of Age of Mythology Retold, and after that is another big one, Space Marine 2. I'm looking forward to both, I will be streaming both, and thanks again for sticking around. Y'all, have a good one. Okay, so this was not part of the script. The review is done. If you want to exit out of the video, go right ahead, but I just wanted to make one more quick point. There is one negative that can drop this game all the way to the bottom of my scale that they really need to fix soon. Why is the original theme not here? Bring that back. The original Sins of a Solar Empire theme is kick-ass. Check it out. Hashtag bring back the theme.